My name is Daniel. I was 34 years old when a small box changed my life forever. If someone had told me that a simple DNA test could destroy the family I grew up in, I would have laughed. But that is exactly what happened. It all started at Christmas. My wife, Noah, gave me a DNA testing kit as a gift. At the time, these tests had become very popular. People were discovering their ancestry, finding distant relatives, and building family trees. "Maybe you'll finally find out why you have green eyes," she joked. I sent in my sample and forgot about it. 3 weeks later, I received a notification. I opened the results one evening while sitting in the kitchen. My ancestry turned out to be completely different from what my parents had always told me. That didn't surprise me. What surprised me was another section: close relatives. At the top of the list was a woman named Hannah. DNA match 49%. Twin sister. I didn't have a sister. I read the information over and over again. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. Then, a message appeared. "Hello, I think we might be brother and sister." My hands went cold. I replied. We started talking. Hannah was exactly my age. She lived in another state, worked as a nurse, and had never known about my existence either. She sent me a photo. The moment I saw her face, my heart nearly stopped. She looked exactly like my mother. The same eyes, the same smile, the same cheekbones. I showed the picture to my wife. She was silent for a long time. "Daniel, that's impossible." But it wasn't. A few days later, we decided to meet. When Hannah walked into the cafe, it felt as if I were looking at a female version of myself. We talked for hours. She told me that she had grown up in an adoptive family. She had always been told that her biological mother had given her up shortly after birth. She never knew her parents' names. Before leaving, Hannah said, "Maybe your mother knows the truth." I couldn't stop thinking about it on the drive home. The next day, I went to my parents' house. My mother opened the door. I showed her Hannah's photograph. She turned pale, so pale that she had to sit down. "Who is this?" she asked. I said, "My sister." My mother began to cry. My father sat silently. I had never seen him like that. A few minutes later, my mother confessed. She had given birth to twins, a boy and a girl. My parents were very young. The family was struggling financially. My father had lost his job. Debts were piling up. Relatives convinced them that they could not afford to raise 2 babies. So they made the most painful decision of their lives. They gave the baby girl up for adoption. My mother cried every day. But she decided never to speak about it again. Not even to me. I felt anger and sympathy at the same time. I looked at my parents and couldn't understand why they had hidden this secret for so many years. My mother said, "We wanted to forget." But that was not the end. A few days later, Hannah wrote to me again. She had received another DNA match. A man. A 50% match. Father. But the name meant nothing to either of us. It wasn't my father. I thought the website had made a mistake. However, Hannah sent me the results. That was when I checked my own DNA matches. I saw the same man. The results showed that he was my biological father too. At that moment, my entire world stopped. It meant only one thing. The man I had called Dad for 34 years was not my biological father. For several days, I couldn't sleep. I stopped answering calls. I barely left the house. Finally, I returned to my parents' home. I placed the DNA results on the table. My mother looked at them and began to cry. My father sat completely still. Several minutes passed. Then my mother quietly said, "He doesn't know." I looked at my father. He raised his head. "What don't I know?" my mother confessed. Before she met my father, she had a relationship with another man. She became pregnant with twins. That man disappeared before he ever learned about the pregnancy. When she later met the man who became my father, she was afraid to tell him the truth. He raised me as his own son, never knowing that Hannah and I were not his biological children. My father learned the truth for the very first time that day. I will never forget the look on his face. He stood up and walked out of the room. My mother was crying, and I sat there feeling absolutely nothing. In the following weeks, the family fell apart. My parents stopped speaking. My father moved out. Hannah felt guilty. I felt guilty. Everything had started because of one simple test. One evening, my father asked me to meet him. We sat in his car beside a lake. He remained silent for a long time. Then he said, "I held you in my arms the day you were born. I taught you how to ride a bicycle. I sat beside your bed when you were sick. I worked night shifts to pay for your college." He looked at me. If a piece of paper says I'm not your father, it doesn't change any of that. I couldn't hold back my tears. Neither could he. That evening, I understood something. DNA can tell you where you came from, but it doesn't always tell you who your real family is. 2 years passed. My parents managed to save their marriage. Hannah became part of our family. We spend holidays together. My father calls her his daughter, and she calls him Dad. Sometimes people ask me, "Do you regret taking that DNA test?" And honestly, I still don't know the answer, because one small box destroyed the life I thought I had, but it also gave me a sister I never knew existed. And for the first time in my life, I realized that family is not only about blood, it is about the people who stay beside you when the truth becomes too heavy to carry.